This place has been decorated by a sadist. What, you don't like modern art figure sculpture?
If I was a superstitious bot, I'd be a little worried. Not sure why Galvatron would call us to the mission. I'm sure he picked us for our unique abilities. We can't tell what the Decepticon Matrix is telling me, because it really is deceptive. And we don't know which of Primary's male concubines sold us out. I don't know that either, but it's at least one more out here, and it's not Octane.
Well, I'm glad you're all assembled. Your mission is to go to the Exile planet and find someone for me.
Who, Blungen? He's probably there.
He probably is, but I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the one that shot me, disguised as you.
The Decepticon Matrix. It didn't tell me.
Of course it didn't. It's broken. That's why Alpha Trion rebuilt it as the Autobot Matrix.
Was the device meant to keep the warrior class confused and obedient to them? Okay, so how does the Autobot one impart wisdom then? I don't know. Many were built and many were lost over time.
Doesn't matter. After Megatronus defied you, Solus Prime, and stepped on it. Wait a minute. Are you saying that Megatronus, the first Megatron, destroyed the very things that could crush the Autobots, and it had to be repaired? Yes, and even though Alpha Trion is a genius, he tried to fix it, but couldn't, and rebuilt it as the Autobot Matrix.
So what you're saying, Megatron, is I have a broken repository of knowledge in my chest I can't activate. Well, the Decepticons don't have a driving moral force in their chest anyway.
Your mission is to go to that planet. The Autobots are already headed there, and find him before they do.
You and the other Decepticons will be joining us.
Yes, we will. Some of us, if you run into trouble. Who are we going to capture?
The most elusive Decepticon of all was presumed dead, but apparently not. And just as Artemis's father is Alter Magnus, her father is him.
No, how could he still be living? He died during the Great Wars. Oh, he's very much alive. He shot me. And we must find him. Well, it couldn't possibly be my universe's version.
No, not the boy from my 90s transcarta phase.
Yes, the same. And it amuses me, because it annoys you. We are looking for Jihaxus.
We'll leave immediately, sir, even though we're neutrals, and we'll bring him back.
What's going on? I cannot express myself here among these pieces of scrap.
Well, you could take pot shots at Starscream's old bunker.
I would not worry if it's Starscream's bunker. Feel better. A lot. How many points do you think it was worth?
Considering Starscream wasn't in it at the time, not many.
Blast, I knew you were going to say that.
Why did the Decepticons have a base here?
Before I left, that jerk Megatron had built a ship to transport Energon to Cybertron shortly after awakening. He lost control of the ship and it crashed here.
So it was Megatron who built the base here.
Yes, out of reach of those Autobot fools.
Or are you going to tell me what's going on?
Their engines are all overheating because they called the humans ignorant fools for building their city so close to the Autobots.
You made a valid point, but maybe your choice of words could use some work.
I'll take my chances with the Autobots.
Although, I got the bounty on your head lifted.
Oh really? How did you manage that?
I got Galvatron in a really good mood.
You treacherous Decepticon. That explains why you aren't alone somewhere with Ultra Magnus.
The Quintessons captured us on the way.
Are you okay?
Sure, they only wanted to disconnect my mental processor and turn me into a machine and set me loose on the Autobots. After I successfully obliterated all the Autobots, and since they were not the Quintessons who created us, I was going to be rewarded for my outstanding services by performing old experiments with Optimus Prime and or Astrotrain and give each other power surges.
I did come back for you. Don't touch me right now. Sorry, Commander.
Oh, I know you are.
What are you thinking about?
Our way of thinking. It was so primitive back then. What made you come back for me?
Loyalty, I guess. So it was a good idea of yours coming here. Galvatron saved you, but he won't save me.
Did you like living among the Autobots for a couple weeks?
Like it? Their fuel burns efficiently, but doesn't enhance your strength. Words like patience, politeness, please, and thank you are expected to be a part of your daily routine. They prefer sparing one's feelings to being honest. Yuck!
That certainly explains your sudden show of gratitude.
Magnus overheated my engine by sending me as an observer. I need Autobot's protection, but what cursed Magnus thinking?
Ultra Magnus was preoccupied by his priorities.
Compassion? You would defend him? Sometimes you wish Megatron had never left you behind.
Do the Autobots know what they're harboring? Are they suspicious of you because of our acquaintance?
I don't know. Surely with Optimus Prime's resurrection, it will continue to dominate the spotlight.
If I understood correctly, the Quintessons said I was the Decepticon Matrix.
That is not good. Why? What's wrong? The Quintessons bribed Galvatron into doing their bidding, or promising the Decepticon Matrix to them.
So my life with Galvatron isn't over.
And then your bizarre daughter acquired what we thought was the Decepticon Matrix and put it inside her chest.
Before I left Char, Galvatron was going to see if the Constructicons could come up with a way to extract information from dead Quintessons.
Megatron was quite the innovator in his day. Where are you going? To overcharge. All this information is troubling. Would you like some energon?
I should go find Artemis and Artie. I wonder where they wandered off to.
Your loss. Take the double doors on the left. They will take you directly to the surface, now that the command center has been reactivated. Are you going to stay here? I hadn't decided. Go find Artemis. Primary, you look like you've been expecting us.
I have. The others in my party seem to have gone missing.
Well, we want to avoid causing a panic, Primary.
Let me guess. Magnus and Optimus Prime put all you up to this, and they're here too.
I'm Springer, aerial defense.
Right. You were fond of that female Autobot.
I see.
Yeah, she's more of a warrior than the other female Autobots I've encountered.
I'm not sure where you're going with that.
I've never heard the Decepticons mocking her.
Is that good? Yes. How is it that your shooting is so accurate?
You're too young and foolish to ever become old and wise.
What is it with you, Roddy? I'm just trying to make small talk. Aren't you curious to know more about Ultra Magnus? Or an enemy. Oh, come on, have you ever seen shooting like that? She blew up that Starscream base. Sure shot, I guess.
I'm just grateful you came along when you did. When Galvatron showed up, I thought we were all future wall plaques. Domestic disputes have a strange way of working to one's advantage, don't they?
You planned that?
Just stopping Artemis. The rest was improvised. Not bad for 11 million years, eh?
Wow, you and Cup could trade war stories.
My contributions are too horrific to share.
I don't consider Alpha Trion a horrible contribution. What did you say? RC told me. And what's he talking about? Probably should have kept that to myself. Sorry.
I should have been more careful. The Quintessons once experimented with robots that could manufacture themselves.
Once, we can still do that. Not quite like that, Roddy. Similar to Carly and Spike. Is that true?
Shush, Roddy. I can't believe you were a bearer of the Matrix. You're such a man-child.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to corner you like that. The Quintessons' powers are underestimated again.
Indeed. Do you know where I can find Ultra Magnus?
Sure. Are we in grave danger?
It would be more appropriate to discuss the matter with Ultra Magnus.
If you forgive me, I need to get back to duty.
Here you are. Did I miss anything?
You did not. Please continue. As you were saying, Cup?
I must apologize for my intrusion.
I understand that I have you to thank for this unconceivable victory. Without your assistance, the people of Earth would have suffered unimaginable devastation. For a Decepticon, you've shown remarkable bravery. Sorry I couldn't get here sooner. Your actions were astonishing. If you'll excuse me. Thank you. For what?
It was just a little awkward having a conversation with Optimus Prime.
You were doing fine.
Too bad I was enjoying it. I'm glad I've been given the opportunity to experience it.
There are some regulations we need to discuss, like no flying until further notice. That is common after an attack. Since your flying mode isn't a vehicle, you can't be mistaken for a Decepticon.
Yes, Springer has kindly brought that to my attention.
You are permitted to retain your weapon. Your actions and my personal knowledge of you has convinced many of your intentions. For now, you are not permitted to roam unescorted. Several Autobots have prior knowledge of your previous lifestyle. Who suggested that? I suggested it, for your own safety. I understand. As trust is built, you will be assigned more responsibilities. For now, I would greatly appreciate your assistance and expertise with the shuttle. It would be an opportunity for us to spend more time together. Yes, it would. Your knowledge of weapons will be very useful. I'll see you two inside.
Ultra Magnus didn't tell me you'd be here. Ultra Magnus didn't tell me you'd be here. He didn't mention you either. I went looking for you. Yeah, I saw you. I'm sorry, Artemis. I always felt it was of no benefit to you to know the identity of your creator. Telling me he was strong, determined, and deserving of his rank was the right thing to do. Certainly, I was anxious to learn of my creator, but now that I do know, I'm agitated. I almost wish I hadn't found out. I know you are. We should have been discussing this sensitive subject in a more private setting. I still admire you. You did what you thought was best for me. What's the point of me wasting energy on something I had no control over for millions of years?
Yes. Shall we go inside?
One more thing. What do you suggest I do if I were to come face to face with Galvatron? Slag. I thought we agreed to avoid one another.
And I warned you not to make me come looking for you. And what do you need? I need you back on Char.
Okay, let me go tell Ultra Magnus first.
Primary, have you forgotten that I'm your leader?
I thought I was your equal.
I am telling you to return with me to Char. You have the sweetest exhaust fumes. Perhaps we can have our discussion while enjoying a hot oil bath. I'm not interested. Bah, then I'm willing to negotiate.
And I told you I'm not interested.
This is very similar to the time Megatron and you first met.
Except that Megatron didn't hang on to me like a coward.
That's because Megatron didn't know what I know. Hold it right there, Galvatron. Of course, Ultra Magnus. Let her go, or the war continues.
As the humans used to say, if you love something, let it go. If it doesn't come back, hunt it down and kill it.
As you wish. I'm giving you to the count of 1 to release Primary and retreat. I promise not to hurt her too badly. Damn it.
I'm sorry, Ultra Magnus. I froze.
That's all right, Artemis. Blitzwing, where have you been? I was recharging. Did I do something wrong? Galvatron took Primary captive. One time, Primary had just taken out 19 of Galvatron's drone scouts. One of the drone's guns transformed into a robot and landed a couple of feet before her. Primary didn't hesitate. She dropped Galvatron with a spin kick. Primary can take care of herself. I'm not so sure about that. I disrupted their play session, which Galvatron did not approve of. He immobilized her just before he kidnapped her. How did Galvatron immobilize her? He blasted her in the midriff, right through. How much longer, Slice? Mighty Galvatron, I'm just about done. Slice, disassemble her. But Mighty Galvatron, don't make me disassemble you. Your best work yet, Slice. Thank you, Mighty Galvatron. Conquest first. What is that odd-colored liquid forming at the tip of her finger? I don't know, Mighty One. What a magnificent machine. What kind of secrets do you think she's harboring? I don't know, Mighty Galvatron. Primary could have many. Her components must be quite old. They are nothing like what I've ever seen before. Careful, Slice. She's your superior. I'm going to give this to you for analysis. By Unicron's beard, what have you done to her? I was just following orders, sir. What is this all about? I was just following orders. I am not Galvatron. I don't know. A secret of some sort involving the Quintessons? Scourge has returned with more locations to the Quintessons. Has Galvatron already departed? It was difficult to refuse someone who enjoyed shattering optical lenses from the inside. One of the very things she did to remind us that Primary wasn't just a pretty female robot. Slice, why would Primary have a computer link like those incorporated into a subservient machine? Like any one of us understands Galvatron, unless... Like, what does all this information mean? The Quintessons are our original creators. All of the Transformers were originally their slaves. Time had passed, and their intelligent machines became aware of the difference between freedom and slavery. And when they rebelled, one of their military models was randomly chosen. A program was installed with a precise deactivation shooting capability. Solus Prime was the Quintesson's enforcer, and that's why Primary is such an impressive shot. It's creepy knowing the Quintessons created us. I don't understand what happened here. Program error? Obviously led to the Quintessons' exile. They're obviously using us to try and regain control of Cybertron, which would lead to our own destruction. Wait a minute. If those rebelling consumer goods were the Autobots, and with Primary being military hardware, that would make her a descendant of the first Decepticon. The Quintessons promised Galvatron ultimate power. Primary's sharpshooting? He wasn't too enthralled with the author. What else is remarkable about her? Where is her right thumb? I took it for analysis. It had a weird fluid coming out of it. Mighty Galvatron, where is Primary's thumb? It's right here. What do you want with it? Mighty Galvatron, is this a way to treat Primary? She was unconscious when Splice neatly disassembled her. My lord, you can't just turn her into a generator. Your respect for Primary has been noted and ignored. Primary has and always will be mine to do with as I choose. Cybertron belongs to me and I will reclaim it at any cost. Even if that means obliterating you, Cyclonus. I will give you one warning, Cyclonus. Oh! Oh! Splice, put her back together, now. I'm afraid that's physically impossible. You're tearing me apart, Cyclonus. I could tear you apart, but then you couldn't fix her. Well, there is a cybernetic surgeon on the planet that could do it, but unfortunately, he's an Autobot. Hoist. Very well. Signal the Autobots there is an emergency. But he's an Autobot. With my limited knowledge, I cannot put her back together. I would terminate her. I have brought the prize Terran surgeon to assist you. Where is Galvatron? I am going to gat him for what he did to Primary. We will not war with each other until after this. Leave it alone, Blitzwing. Cyclonus? What is it, Blitzwing? I see that Primary's recent logic in wanting to aid these sentimental fools hasn't deterred your goals either. The Decepticon hierarchy was threatened. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, my patience had been outstretched, and I could not permit the situation to drag on any longer. Will you let Primary know that? Is there a place I can wait out Primary's surgery? The door. Blitzwing, if you were well aware of the seriousness of the situation, why did you allow Primary out of your sight? I'm not the warrior she is. I am his gunfather. I understand. Cap will notify me of any unexpected guests. Are you in search of refuge? Refuge? You can't expect Primary to smooth this out with Galvatron. No. You're obviously not here to negotiate the release of your captured Decepticons. Captured Decepticons? I'll leave that to Primary's discretion. Then why are you here, Cyclonus? Why haven't you attempted to return to your base? I will contact them. Yes, I'm here. I understand. Did anyone see you? Do not discuss what happened ever. I will not hesitate to silence you. No word as of yet. I will notify you as soon as I know. Cyclonus out. This urgent matter does not concern you. Primary system must be in poor condition if Slice could not take care of it. Blitzwing, were any of the Decepticons uncertain of Primary as a soldier? Megatron trusted her allegiance from day one. Primary would just say, or not even ask, I'm taking Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, and Megatron wouldn't even shot a transistor. Primary was an excellent mentor. She never treated us as gunfodder. Why don't we go check on Primary's progress? I do not understand how you could support bringing Primary back online. If you'd seen the victims she had left behind, you would refrain. Some of them had their faceplates smashed in, while others had their optics ripped out. It is not your place to think, human. There's a lot you don't understand, Cyclonus. I do understand that countless Autobots perished at her hands. If you activate her, the Autobots will be in grave danger. Have you forgotten, Optimus, how she freed you from the Decepticons without the use of a weapon? Primary has great control over the Decepticons. Don't you see? Primary's rank in the Decepticon army could be the means to the end of the war. I've known Primary from long ago, when the Quintessons ruled Cybertron. Knowing someone from long ago isn't a good enough reason to revive her. When Primary came for me on Char, I thought they were sending their best to deactivate me. I didn't realize the strong, ruthless image that Primary continued to project. Must I remind you that Primary wasn't with the Decepticons for lewd purposes? She was Megatron's right arm, for the Matrix's sake. We need to dredge up more horror stories to get my point across. Prime, I can't let her die. What? I can't let her die. We were recently rebonded. When did this happen? I was headmaster on Militaria. Primary did not represent the character you speak of. I thought that she'd perished on Militaria. It wasn't until Primary showed up on Cybertron looking for Blitzwing that I learned of her survival. I am truly sorry to be the one to expose you to her past, Ultra Magnus. Primary, having committed those crimes, would only think it logical to withhold the damaging information. Are you forgiving her? She knows what this symbol stands for. Primary wasn't blind to what I am. When we met on Militaria, Primary wasn't bearing an insignia, unlike our serendipity on Cybertron. I did not realize the degree of your association with Primary until you called the meeting to discuss tactics on her being taken captive. I would never have allowed her to roam the halls with her hands unbound. Primary rescued us, and not just us, but Earth as well. If the Decepticons had gained control of Earth, I know, Ultra Magnus, the chain reaction would have been catastrophic. Can you see, Prime? Primary is trying to make amends. When Primary was discovered on Cybertron, I knew that she could have avoided capture. It wasn't until I saw the Decepticon insignia that I made the connection in my logic circuits. And you do believe what I told you about her? I knew of a female Decepticon, but didn't know they were one and the same. I've not witnessed Primary showing hostility toward any Autobot, nor any human, since he came back into my life. The first time I saw her, I'd never witnessed anything so graphically horrific. The Autobot Primary had gutted was still alive. For the past few weeks, because of her history, I was indecisive what to do about our pledge to one another. Primary sacrificed. Primary's behavior was that of an Autobot. Deactivating her own comrades to manipulate an Autobot's trust. And yet, I wouldn't put it past any Decepticon. It's gone beyond that. When she contacted us from Char to notify us that you've been found, we lost visual contact but not audio. But she didn't know that. When the scene that unfolded, she wasn't putting on a show. What else does Primary have to do to convince you? I do not know.
Are you the one I have to thank for restoring my exquisite physique?
I was against it at first, but then I was talked into it.
Cyclonus, what are you doing here?
I took your advice. You're not serious. What is the meaning of all of this?
Ultra Magnus, I can't deal with you now. I require one of you to escort us to the outer perimeter.
Blitzwing, what's going on?
Where did you need me?
You know something, don't you?
I'm not at liberty to say.
I'm not at liberty to say. You misunderstood. I'm not giving you an option. You don't know Galvatron. What Galvatron will do to me is far worse than any Autobot can imagine. Well, Galvatron became secretive the last 2 days. Even I was disregarded as untrustworthy. I heard a strange noise echoing through the corridors. It was unfamiliar because it was constant. The sound was coming from the repair bay. The horror that awaited me was unforeseen. Slice had disassembled you by Galvatron's command.
I knew he was a bastard, but damn.
It wasn't long before Galvatron had discerned the root of the new fuel source, one that didn't burn up as quickly as the one Octane had created.
I thought you strongly believed in Galvatron.
I strongly believe in the Decepticon cause. A far greater leader has presented herself.
Me, because of my past life as Solus Prime? That was millions of years ago.
You are the Decepticon Matrix. How'd you find out? Slice was searching for the best point to disassemble your helmet.
What did the others think of all this?
The Constructicons are the only ones to bear witness, and they have discreetly disposed of Galvatron's remains. As you know, the rest of the Decepticons have already shown a great respect for you, and those that do not, we can persuade them.
What about my association with the Autobots?
Not of any concern. With your capabilities, it is an error we can soon correct.
I was interested in making peace with the Autobots.
The other Decepticons and I will take pleasure in assisting you tearing out their voice consoles, so that we may silence them.
You know my history well, but why consider me? Why not you?
Since you reunited with the Decepticons, our empire has been reborn. Galvatron was mighty but disorganized. You have unmatched experience and skill. Even before I was aware of the existence of the Decepticon Matrix, I dreamed of you leading us to final victory.
I didn't know you felt that way. I was hoping personal emotions weren't the reason behind you terminating Galvatron.
Not at all. The Decepticon cause is the priority, not personal conquest.
Those tactics worked well between Megatron and me throughout the 5 million years, but the Quintessons are my first concern.
Before leaving Char, I had sent Scourge and the Sweeps to eradicate every last one, and not to return until then. You continue to please me. What is your next concern?
The Autobots, they probably don't take too kindly to their gesture, especially Ultra Magnus.
I brought you there because the aged Cillian human would be able to guide Hoist. Not that. I thought the Autobots wouldn't have second-guessed such compassionate behavior.
Sure, Megatron's old girlfriend, now involved with Galvatron's second-in-command.
The rest of the Decepticons are fodder.
When I left Char, I discovered that he lives.
How should I proceed? It is Ultra Magnus. Of course, the only Autobot I find challenging. I accept the challenge.
Except, I wasn't asking you for a duel. I was letting you know what we are to face.
Why an Autobot?
I didn't do it to make life more interesting. It just sort of happened.
Like when we kissed that one time. Will you stay with him?
Having Optimus Prime as commander causes hesitation. I can see that he's matured since then, but I can also see in his optics that disdain still exists.
Will you stay with Ultra Magnus? You already know the answer to that. Primary, what can you be truthful to me? What do you want to know? Start from the beginning with what happened in there.
Cyclonus terminated Galvatron. He also said he had a crush on me, but that's not why.
Galvatron is deactivated. How?
I once told Cyclonus at the exact spot.
But why?
After Galvatron's plasma bath on Throw, some even say that Unicron torturing him contributed to his consistent logic failures. Let's just say he made too many enemies.
Including Cyclonus?
You must have had the opportunity to witness the way Galvatron treated him. It was only a matter of time.
Then who was taking over as ruler of the Decepticons? I am. I wanted you to be truthful, but I did not foresee any of this.
Well, it's not like I'd come here to declare war.
Primary, Artfire, what is it?
Guardian, Blitzwing wanted me to tell you that he went with Cyclonus and Slice to the Charbase. What a dolt. How long ago did they leave?
Maybe 15 Astro minutes. Not the time, unless I come along. Fine. I will notify you if there's a change in plans. I can't believe you're serious. I'm infuriated with your running off at the most awkward moments.
I had forgotten what it was like to hold you.
We still have a lot of unfinished business.
Feels odd seeing Militaria base, isn't it?
Haunting is more like it.
I must apologize for my cavalier attitude about it. I've had more time to come to terms with it.
Has your time as an Autobot only been sojourn? It wasn't part of my original plan. Did you ever find out what happened? I didn't see any point in it. I hadn't calculated Militaria into the equation. Certainly brought up some forgotten emotions.
I need to make my presence felt before certain Decepticons in particular pick up Blitzwing on their scanners. Be forewarned, Decepticon culture is incomparable to the Autobots.
Is this what you meant by Decepticon culture?
Shush.
I can see it.
Why would you want to risk coming here?
Every time I want to spend time with you, we're interrupted by one thing or another.
You think this Militaria base is the best place to get reacquainted?
What happened to him?
I bet Galvatron's alive. He's decapitated.
Probable, but very well. Where is Galvatron now?
You said you deactivated him. Where is Galvatron? According to scans, a Quintesson came down and reanimated his body and took him on a ship.
I see. All the sweeps are brave enough to serve Galvatron alone.
Don't get any foolish ideas, Blitzwing.
Me? Well, the Decepticons have always treated you in the highest regard.
I didn't rise in the ranks by chance.
Like just anybody could qualify as Megatron's service agent.
What's Magnus doing here?
He's gone AWOL. Is that so? Is that why you assumed the position as Decepticon leader?
I give the Autobots nightmares. Not only was I the only warrior for the job to rescue and retrieve Prime, but I wanted him to see that I wasn't the same ruthless being he had encountered centuries ago on Cybertron.
So did I. I've experienced you in a different light. Even if Artemis had never existed, I would still honor my commitment to you. It's not like she could resist him, when you and I are so much alike. You're also underwhelmed with enthusiasm.
Ultra Magnus, I only entertained that idea. I never acted upon it. Once I discovered you were alive, I disposed of that fantasy completely.
Cyclonus' behavior didn't demonstrate that.
Cyclonus has already apologized for overstepping the bounds. He had caught me off guard. Let me assure you I won't tolerate it again. Anything else before we proceed? Yeah, are you going to contest it?
No, it is we who slayed Onslaught. So, what are you two up to? At first we thought we were tracking the ill scent of a traitor that smelled suspiciously like Autobot. We must have been mistaken. Yes. We'll immediately have Slice examine the sensors for any malfunctions.
This one is off the revenge roster. You are to treat Blitzwing like any other Decepticon, defined in typical Decepticon fashion. Any serious conflicts arise, contact me immediately. Is that clear?
Yes. Yep. You are dismissed. Thank you, sir.
So, Blitzwing, is this your new hangout?
Not really. I guess you hadn't noticed the way she looks at you. I did, like some kind of mentor to student thing. Disgusting. Or how a mother looks at a child. Sentimentality did not occur to me, Ultra Magnus. As you were saying. Huh.
One more thing before I go. Have you ever thought about expanding?
What? No.
Galvatron's ruling method was excessively crude. I'm just saying that I don't want you standing around collecting dust and rusting. It would make a nice cover. Think about it, will you?
Hello, Scourge. Cyclonus is still acting strange. He said you'll know where to find him, if you desire. He said that? I didn't realize he'd be so upset over losing Galvatron. I'm glad to be rid of the demon.
I bet you are. Once you accepted that Cyclonus only took those beatings because he honestly believed Galvatron would raise the Empire. You'll understand.
I understand. Cyclonus said that he's to remain second in command. Will you be taking Galvatron's place?
How did you reach that conclusion?
Others that know you from when you served under Megatron, and with the accomplishments you've made since your arrival almost a month ago, It seems only logical.
How do you feel about that?
I am at your service. Good. Dismissed for now. What is Ultra Magnus still doing here?
He insisted on coming along. Optimus Prime didn't seem too happy about that.
Yes, but what is Ultra Magnus doing here?
I've narrowed it down to wanting to negotiate.
With us or with you?
That's as far as I narrowed it down. He was fairly silent on the trip here. Prime continues to harbor animosity toward me.
That doesn't sound very Autobot.
I killed a number of female Autobots. Megatron had just beheaded one in front of him, and I ripped out another's optics. How are you coping?
Well, that was millions of years ago. They were past life. Where will the Decepticon cause lead us now?
Char Base is practically empty. How many prisoners do the Autobots have?
No definite number.
How many traitors did Galvatron deactivate?
Pounce and Wingspan, Cutthroat and Rippersnapper for refusing to rescue you. Spinister because he was too quiet. He accused Quake of not performing as well under his command, and then dismembered him.
How much of an armada do we have? Does it matter?
Hook generously restored all the Autobots that he could find. Now they outnumber us.
The Decepticons did practically wipe out their air defense. We have always been the dominant power in the air. I may have earned enough trust, but Prime will always be of grave concern. The Decepticons did practically wipe out their air defenses.
Skylinks has been restored, possibly winning over a few more Autobots' trust.
We've always been the dominant power in the air. I may have earned enough trust, but Prime will always be of grave concern. We'd have to wait until their guard was down and their defenses were in limited quantities. I can take on 20 of them.
I'm looking forward to the experience.
No more talk of conquest in front of prying audio sensors.
We will be invincible.
We will live as the Emperors. We will always destined to be.
I knew I wasn't having an error in judgment when I proposed you to be our leader.
Let's not keep Ultra Magnus waiting.
My tolerance is wearing thin.
I had not intended to leave you waiting this long. My deepest apologies. Cyclonus, not to be interrupted.
Yes, sir.
My deepest apologies. I did not intend to have you wait this long.
Not my first choice of a follower to find you with.
Cyclonus is second in command. It's unavoidable.
I came to discuss opportunities, not test stubbornness.
Very well.
It still functions as well.
Do you wish to contact Prime?
Not at the moment.
Are you certain? He probably thinks you're dead. Come on, we can make Prime think I have you hostage.
Your humor escapes me. Let's cut the scrap metal primary. I insisted on coming along because of your new position with the Decepticons. Optimus told me about your Decepticon initiation exploit. There were stories throughout Iacon of a malevolent Decepticon in particular. I did not realize you were one and the same until you permitted Cup and Springer to capture you.
If you knew of my past, then why are you being so civilized?
Because of those 300-odd years we shared together. That wasn't the same robot that existed in the days of Megatron. Now that you are the commander of the Decepticons, I need to know what your intentions are, without all the vagueness. Galvatron was a tyrant, but always bound to failure. Through my own personal experience, by observing you in the Academy, and overhearing you gloat of your performance in our slaughter.
So you were aware of what transpired after Galvatron damaged the communications console?
Your unorthodox tactics got Galvatron to calm down. If you'd been hurt, we would all be in a completely different, much grimmer situation today.
Perhaps.
With those we have taken prisoner, and your own population control contribution, the Decepticons don't have much of an army. With the power of your matrix, that doesn't matter. With you as the leader and your marksmanship, the Decepticons have a very high probability of succeeding. I will not allow that to happen.
Then you must have come to deactivate me.
Primary, I still love you. I know you desire an end to the war. Is it possible to negotiate peace between the two factions?
Peace?
We have all witnessed the influence you have over the Decepticons. I am confident that with you as their leader, it will be achieved.
Are your wires crossed? Despite my abilities, the Decepticons outnumber me. With my reputation, the only peace that will be achieved is me being blown to pieces.
Then you must scrap them first.
You surprised me, Ultra Magnus.
With every past life you brought into the universe, wouldn't your desire be to put an end to the cruelty increase?
I shouldn't be the one to lay such claims.
Are you still interested in ending the war?
Yes, of course. But Prime will never accept it.
You're right. I cannot allow the Decepticons to be reborn due to petty vendettas.
I'm willing to sacrifice all the necessary troops to end the war. What are you willing to sacrifice to avoid it? No one will be the wiser, not even Cyclonus.
I thought I heard you imply that you'd let Optimus take over as leader.
You're here with the intention of reaching a peace agreement, aren't you? You know Prime will never trust me. Not if I lived another 11 million years in redemption. Your orders are effective immediately. Don't take the shuttles. This planet is ours. Tear it apart.
What am I to do?
You don't need to be here. You're wondering why I didn't give you an assignment?
I respect your desires.
What's going on?
I'm just getting the rust out of everyone's gears.
And why aren't you sending me?
But more like a senpai thing. You were always one of my favorite students. Don't take that wrong.
What happened to making a stand?
A new situation has presented itself.
Senpai, can I talk to you alone, sir?
No.
He'll ignore it. But Cyclonus still has a serious crush on you.
I know. He's also like a student.
Did you tell him about you and Magnus?
Cyclonus is willing to share.
I'm glad there's only one female Decepticon to contend with.
The universe certainly couldn't handle two of me.
Terrorizing and deception. So what's the goal? Trust me as you always have. I can see why you accepted this assignment. Knowing Ambassador Agnauti from his numerous visits to Militaria definitely worked in our favor.
The ambassador spoke highly of Primary?
I hope Arcee and I are graced for the longevity your relationship has endured. Well, maybe now's not the time to talk about it. But I'll be here if you need me.
Switching thrusters. You weren't kidding, Springer, when you said we'd be scraping the boundaries.
What you think of the whole experience, kid?
Safety in numbers, isn't that what it's all about? Why'd you insist on me coming along, Ultra Magnus?
What is the energon they offered giving you surges?
What's wrong, Ultra Magnus?
Seeing Ambassador Agothi was a melancholy reminder of all those who didn't survive. His shuttle had only left moments before Militaria's death.
What do you say we go for a long drive by the river when we get back?
No.
I was hoping you'd finally work it out with her.
You'll eventually accept why things are the way they are.
You know she's not evil anymore, don't you, Magnus?
That's the question I needed her to answer when I went with her earlier.
Then why didn't she come back to you after assuring Blitzwing's safety?
The Predacons have returned.
Excellent. Were they successful in their mission? What prize have they brought me?
It is you.
You have done exceptionally well.
This pathetic planet is almost ours. You misled us into believing that Galvatron was behind the irrational attacks.
Cyclonus has forced him to step down. Recognize it?
The one you were using in battle to deactivate our forces. Uh-oh, I think she's gone nuts.
I told you I would not tolerate such behavior.
Predacons, run! Oh, pardon, my lady. I was overcome with the elation of conquest.
As long as I made myself clear.
You wish to dole out punishment, my lady.
Hand over the Requiem Blaster.
Very well, as you wish, my queen.
Oh, there they are.
Why did you shoot down the Predacons?
They were recently brought here by the Quintessons and are not to be trusted. Now leave me to convince Optimus Prime of my true motives.
So, this is some evil ploy for seeking revenge for Megatron's death?
I couldn't openly reveal the real purpose of the meeting now, could I?
Only a Decepticon would have someone else wear their opponent down before facing them themselves.
Do you really think that of me, Prime?
How else would you qualify to be Megatron's mistress?
I sure hope you saved some prayers, Prime, because now you're really going to need them.
I don't wish to fight you.
You're supposed to be a challenge, not a weakling. Should I give you a soldier's death and blow off your head?
How can one so full of hate have the desire to heal? Primary, please.
When faced with an intelligent foe, you Autobots do falter easily.
Primary, please, this is senseless. A good mechanism rests within you.
I will let you experience why Megatron cherished me.
You have the power to heal. That is not a Decepticon trait.
And I took the Matrix. That which was forsaken me.
Well, this explains it then. What are you talking about? Artemis, Megatron circuitry saved you. So that explains it. What are you talking about? Optimus Prime, no.
I inherited some of Megatron's circuitry? That's what saved me?
Oh, what happened in here? The defenses were set to fire on Autobots, but Artemis is partly Decepticon. Impossible. We were trying to find a way to separate the two for centuries. Primary, you cannot control the Autobot matrix.
I just wanted to run some tests on it. You can have it back in a minute.
Give us back the Matrix and the Requiem Blaster. They're too powerful. Primary intends to win the war for the Decepticons.
And that's where you're wrong, Optimus Prime.
I just got a report from the battlefield. Our forces have just stopped in their tracks. Can you tell what is happening? No time to answer that now. Can you tell what's happening?
I had given some of those I sent a disc with an assignment geared especially to their personality and their talents, as competent commanders should. I stole it from Quintesson Technology. But I never intended to... But Megatron was trying to convince me, and I could no longer discuss the strategy. There were consequences. I was rapidly overwhelmed.
Why would you stage a coup only to stop it yourself with a kill switch?
Ultra Magnus, just let it go. We girls do crazy shit sometimes.
Primary? Prime, I surrender. What an odd war this is. No shies.
I believe this belongs to you.
The other Decepticons are no longer frozen, but they're very confused. Would someone mind explaining what's going on here? I froze out there. The Matrix kept everyone in this room from freezing. Interesting.
It turns out Magnus isn't your father. Megatron is. That explains why I froze and fell over there.
You stole the Requiem Blaster and caused all this to happen. You're really being a Karen, as the humans would call it. After everything you have done, I will let you have a moment to yourself. After that, arrest her.
Oh, wait a second. I wasn't frozen, though. I was just in shock, is all.
But Prime, are you sure we should do this? She must be brought to justice, not for what she did in her past lives, but what she did today. Dun, 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 dun.
You've taken the gun that almost terminated your leader. But I didn't really intend to hurt him.
You have a funny way of showing it.
Cyclonus, Optimus Prime.
I knew who I was united with as soon as I spotted the Decepticon symbol on your chest. But I didn't verbally attack you, though Prime did.
Prime infuriated me more than I was expecting.
I always knew you were hot-headed. Arrogance. It's a Decepticon trait.
He was prejudiced of what I did in a past life, but now he's not.
Yes, I was wrong and I apologize. When you took the Matrix from me and I took it back, I was able to glean the truth from it.
What became of the lovable Optimus Prime that everyone gloats about? Talk about a death wish.
Well, being resurrected a few times will do that to you.
I had to let Galvatron know I wasn't just another female with a gun.
Do we have to discuss the harm you inflicted on Optimus Prime?
I was talking about sending the Decepticons on their final mission.
Why didn't you share the information about the virus that hurt Soundwave and the others with us sooner?
Because I didn't want them dead.
Your respectable gesture of surrender just may be the opportunity.
Opportunity for what? Making profit from admittance to my deactivation? That's what Swindle would do.
Primary, we are Autobots. You will be granted trial. Perhaps then Optimus Prime will understand why I admire you.
Admiring me for almost scrapping your leader.
The actions you have taken have made me feel unworthy.
Unworthy? Don't you mean disgraced?
Primary, we are Autobots. You will be granted a trial. Perhaps then Optimus Prime will understand why I admire you.
Admire me for almost scrapping your leader?
The actions you have taken have made me feel unworthy.
Unworthy? Don't you mean disgraced?
Primary, must you continue to be so defensive with me? It was your brilliant military strategy that ended the war.
Sure, I deceived the Decepticons.
I do understand your sadness, and I want to continue to honor you.
I had assumed that once you found out the truth about me, our relationship would be one with oblivion. My combat techniques have never been Autobot material. But I always wondered, could someone like me be welcome into the Autobot ranks?
Primary, for Cybertron's sake. We've been fighting in a war that raged into a struggle for survival. You have not survived 11 million years by being prissy. Most Autobots tend to be polite instead of doing what must be done to win the war. I, just like you, have always been willing to take the necessary steps to gain the upper hand.
Your no-nonsense approach is one of the many things about you that appeal to me.
Primary, are you and the other Decepticons prepared to face charges and surrender?
Why does it matter when my fate will be decided, not my history?
Primary is not responsible for the actions in her previous lives, just in this one. Ridiculous Autobots. Why don't you just execute her and get it over with? We don't do that, Cyclonus.
What else are you going to dredge up? How Megatron showed me there was more to being a Decepticon than just shooting an opponent dead in his tracks. The first time I met Prime.
Since leaving Cybertron, Primary's forgiven. Well, she's done a lot of bad things to a lot of Autobots and Decepticons. She did save me from Galvatron. But she was like my senpai, girl I like who's my teacher. She saved me a few times, but also beat the crap out of me a few times.
Never can tell when she's making stuff up. She's kind of annoying, an unfit mother, but perfect for a Decepticon.
Without her cunning plan, the Decepticons would occupy this planet.
Well, she's not your everyday over-manufactured Decepticon. I guess this trial determines she's a Decepticon, but we knew that. Well, she can't go back to the Autobots. You're not going to let her go because she's a Decepticon, are you?
This is ridiculous. The Autobots are wasting our time. Well, if it's any consolation to you, Cyclonus, you couldn't handle her anyway. We'll exile her to the prison planet. She's a menace to the galaxy.
Why don't you Autobots just execute me? Or do you have the guts?
We do not kill our prisoners as Decepticons would. We hope to rehabilitate them. Besides, she descended from the oldest Decepticon ever.
Or did she just say that to sound impressive?
The Matrix told me that long ago she was indeed Solus Prime. Remand her over to us, and we will dispose of her. That's ridiculous, Cyclonus. You would just let her out. And for now, she'll be tossed in the brig. Very well, then. Toss her in the brig and post guards. I'm back. And this time, no force in the universe will stop me. Mighty Galvatron, you're alive. How is that possible? I'll explain it to you. Hold it right there, Galvatron. I have the Requiem Blaster. Mighty Galvatron, no. I thought the Quintessons had abducted me, but it turned out it was Shadow and some Junkions. And they put me back together. It was humiliating.
You came to release me, Galvatron? That's not very Decepticon of you.
Galvatron, if you harm her, I'll blast you. Oh, I'm not going to have her dismantled this time.
We all like her. Can't we all just get along?
She's my mate now. You can't kill her. I have a fusion cannon, and you have a Requiem blaster. If we fire them, they'll both be comparable. Just the energy of our two guns firing here will destroy the facility. I'm willing to risk it to end this ridiculous soap opera.
I thought she was going to lead our Decepticons to victory, but it turned out to be the Tragic Kingdom. Title drop.
A No Doubt song title. Really? This is written by an emo human in the 2000s.
Damn it, if you're gonna shoot each other, just do it and get it over with. Wait a minute. Galvatron, I relinquished Decepticon command to you.
When you rebuilt her, you corrupted her into an Autobot. Yuck. No, she's no Autobot. She tried to slaughter half the planet.
Gee, thanks for sticking up for me.
Love you too, but I got this.
I'm not so sure you've got this.
My patience is wearing thin, Autobot. You're just stalling. Yeah, where's the security detail? What's left of them is back in the corridor.
It's just you and you and you and me.
Dun 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 dun.
Mighty Galvatron.
Enough out of you. No, Galvatron, it cannot end like this. How do you think you're going to get out of this, Prime? I'm not going to get out of this, but someone else is.
Arise, Solus Prime.
No, it can't be. She lied about all that stuff. She's a Decepticon. She doesn't have the Decepticon matrix. Artemis does, and it doesn't work anyway.
Galvatron, don't kill me. Send me to the prison planet instead.
Anything to end your incessant grandstanding. I agree. Very well. We will transfer her to the prison planet.
Wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not, but the shield's down, so I can fly away.
No, you are going to the prison planet, and you will not be welcome to the ranks of the Decepticons again.
Will I ever see you again?
Well, maybe someday. This matter is a Cybertronian one. There will be no war today, Optimus Prime. Yes, Galvatron, it seems she wanted to unite us for the wrong reasons, or the right one.
For all of Cybertron, till all are one.
Silly, silly story.